Flags are flying at half-staff today as the city mourns the loss of 19 people, including 9 children killed in that horrific fire in the Bronx.
It started in a malfunctioning electric space heater. That was the cause of the fire. The fire consumed that apartment that is on 2 floors and part of the hallway.
It was the deadliest fire in New York City in over 3 decades. Joining us right now from City Hall, Mayor Eric Adams. Thank you so much for being with us. And I just want to say, from all of us here at Good Day New York, we extend our love and support to all those families.
Thank you so much, ladies, and thank you for having me on this morning. And we have received that warmth, understanding from just about all New Yorkers and even outside of the city. My colleagues and mayors across the country, they have reached out to me and just wanted to know how could they help. And I spoke with the president's daughter yesterday, and she indicated the White House wants to be here for whichever way we need. So I thank you for that.
So, Mayor, what do we know about this investigation? We know it was a malfunctioning space heater. Why did they need a space heater in that building? Was there problems with heat?
No, we did not have any outstanding complaints of heat in the building. You know, sometimes people have additional warmth that they want in their apartments, and that is why they use space heaters from time to time. What it appears as though at the heart of the problem was really the open door that allowed the smoke to move through. It wasn't the fire that really consumed so many lives. It was the smoke. And this is not to, put any additional burden on the family in that apartment. It's almost a muscle memory that you flee an apartment and sometimes you forget about closing the door. That's why we're going to double down on the closing the door PSA that I knew as a child, and we want other generations to understand that.
That's a great idea, because you're right. People panic. They don't know what to do. I mean, we're also hearing from some of the people who live in that apartment building that there were problems with the fire alarm constantly going off, and maybe that's why a few of them ignored it yesterday.
Yes, and we're going to look into that. The fire marshals are going to do a thorough investigation. They are professionals. They will tell us the source of the fire, why it's spread it so rapidly throughout the building. They're also going to look at the door and see, did it have the automatic closing that it's supposed to have based on a law that was passed in the city. And so the investigation is going to give us a lot of information, and we're going to utilize that information to prevent additional fires of this capacity. Remember, it was back in 1989, we had Happy Land, and we were able to look at that fire and come up with real changes on how we handle buildings, when people have to exit during a fire emergency.
So because of that open door, was that the problem that firefighters encountered when they got there? Because I had seen reports that when they got to that building, the building was already engulfed in flames.
And more so engulfed in smoke throughout the building. When you look at the front of the building, Commissioner Nigro was sharing, that's why you had so many windows that were open or broken throughout the day or throughout the building, because of the smoke spreading through the building. And so the open door allowed the smoke to move through the building in a rapid fashion. And we have to really look at the heroes and sheroes from the response from the firefighters and EMS. Some of them actually did not have any more air in their tanks, but continue to push through to rescue families. I cannot say enough about them and those who lived in the building as they helped their neighbors. This was New York at its finest during a very difficult and troubling time.
Mayor, why didn't they have more air in their oxygen tanks? There was some talk about maybe they were understaffed because of, COVID. Some people were out sick. What have you heard about that?
Well, from my understanding, and the commissioner can explain it better than I, but from my understanding, the tank allows you a certain amount of time in a building, but because of the 19 floors and the extended period of time, they actually ran out of oxygen, some of the firefighters. But we had a full complement of firefighters that were there. Other engine companies also responded. We had the manpower on the scene, rapidly responded, and again, we want to commend those men and women who came together in a coordinated effort to really evacuate the building and get the fire under control.
But at this point, you don't see any problems with the building itself, with the landlord, or anything like that?
No, that was not reported. There were two outstanding violations of the initial reports, and those violations had nothing to do with heat. So it appears as though the landlord was operating the building accordingly, but a thorough investigation will determine all of that.
What will the city do? What can we do to help?
A couple of things. We opened a fund, the fund to Advance New York. That's the name of the fund, is the Mayor's Fund to Advance New York. And all of the proceeds collected will go directly to the family members involved. We have a real response from community-based organizations. Office of Emergency Management has coordinated with the Red Cross. Everyone that needed shelter, currently they have the shelter that they need. And we're also going to make sure that we give emotional support to the children, their schools, and the community. This is a traumatic impact. I think about when my building was burned, a fire, 3-alarm fire, when I was a state senator. It was no loss of life, but you think about this often. Every time you hear a fire truck, you relive traumas like this, and we want to be there for New Yorkers.
Are you okay? You said that you're kind of reliving the trauma.
Yes, I am. I'm just thinking about those family members, and I was happy that we saw all of the electeds, all of the citywide electeds, Borough President Vanessa Gibson, our district attorneys, our council person, assembly person, the state senator, the governor. You saw New York at its best during crises of this magnitude. And think about it, we're already stretched thin. Our doctors and nurses dealing with the COVID crises. These young people and families was sent to hospitals throughout the borough and the city, and they responded in an admirable fashion. This is who we are as a city. As you stated at the front of this broadcast, we get through this together as New Yorkers, and you saw that Governor and Mayor standing side by side to deal with this crisis.
Well, we're happy to see that. Mayor Adams, thank you so much for being on Good Day New York. We really appreciate it, and our condolences and support to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.